December 10th, 2020, YFN Lucci receives a gift from the CEO of his label, Honcho, the very first Maybach SUV in the entire United States. It was white. He was very excited. Him and his guys are on Instagram Live bragging. One of them says, "Oh man, we gonna mess the city up." That little line right there has him facing murder charges. Well, it's one of the things used against him. And the YSL Rico is in the news a lot, but the YFN indictment actually came out first. It's 105 counts. You probably haven't been hearing as much about that because no one's really, I'm going to say nobody's snitching in that case, but very little, unlike YSL, which is, they could have a concert called Snitch Fest based on just YSL members. So this story is based on some journalistic sources I've developed down in Atlanta that have access to some unique information. YFN Lucci seems to be kind of a victim, I guess, of, I don't know, some type of street code or something. I mean, he's not a gang member. He says it in his own music, unlike Young Thug. But let's go back to late December. So December 10th, he gets the white Bentley. He's got 3 friends in town that they keep calling gang members, but they're in town from Miami. A guy named Lit, a guy named Baby, and I forget the other guy's name. But these are 3 guys from Miami. So they're supposedly Bloods from Miami. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but they're certainly not in any gang in Atlanta, and Lucci's not even a gang member. But even if they're gang members, and even if Luchi were, how are they in the same gang? They just 3 guys he knows from the music industry. Oh, CP3, that was the other guy, that are visiting from Miami. One of them, whose nickname was Baby, not to be confused with Little Baby, had a little girlfriend over in this neighborhood in Atlanta. So Lucci wants to show off his Maybach truck. First one in the United States. He's not just the first guy in Atlanta. That was the first one in the U.S. He just wants to show off his truck. Now, of course, in the indictment, in this case I'm about to talk about, the murder where YFN supposedly threw their buddy outside of the car, which is, of course, absurd, is the centerpiece of the case against Lucci. And remember, the Lucci, unlike Thug and them, got out on bond. He messed it up. He went to the strip club and they revoked his bond. So he could have been out all this time. He recently rejected a 20-year plea deal, and good for him. And it's going to come out in the YFN trial, which is going to be interesting, just like the YSL. But let me tell you what really happened that night, or that afternoon. It was 5:50 or so p.m. I guess it's dark at that point, so it's early evening. And this guy Baby, who's with CP3 and Lit, they're visiting from Miami. YFN Lucci is driving in his new Maybach truck, which they had been on Instagram Live bragging about. They're going through Atlanta. It's a weekday. Anyone been in Atlanta? Traffic's worse than LA. They cut through some neighborhood, which I guess, is a bad area. Some guys, mind you, it's these, again, if you've ever been to Atlanta, a lot of these neighborhoods Atlanta's an old city. There's these little small streets, bad traffic. He makes a turn. He's kind of going the wrong way. He pulls to the side to probably get his bearings, turn around. Guys in the neighborhood come out with guns. The guy Baby, the one who's deceased, R.I.P., he opens the door of the truck because he had been going in that neighborhood to see this girl. That's who he was being dropped off by Luchi to go see, showing off his new truck. And the guys, Baby gets out to just be like, "Yo, it's me. I'm just, But of course, as we know, robbing a rapper, shooting a rapper, punking a rapper out, or whatever they thought they was going to do to Luchi and them will get you attention on the internet. So these guys, they pulled out guns on Luchi and them for no real reason. Baby gets out the car to say, "Hey, it's me." They start shooting at Luchi's truck and baby and lit in CP3. Luchi is driving. Baby, his friend from Miami, is immediately hit. And man, Luchi's trying to get over, he's trying to save everybody's life. He pulls off. This is what really happened. And there was another car with them that has witnesses to this, according to my information, but they don't want to make a statement, which would save Luchi, because Luchi's charged with first-degree murder, even though it was self-defense. Well, why? Okay, let me finish. So, baby gets hit. Luchi wildly pulls off. There's an exchange of gunfire. One of the guys in the neighborhood gets hit in the stomach, but he lives. The guy from Miami, I forget his real name, but baby they called him, he dies he's dying on the block. Neighbors call, ambulance comes. Unfortunately, he passes away at the hospital. And then that's when the Atlanta news thing went out that said YFN Lucci is wanted for murder. He promptly turned himself in. He got bond. Why would he get bond in first-degree murder? Well, because it was never first-degree murder. A lot of this YFN case is them wanting to pressure YFN people into telling on the YSL people, but turns out they don't need anyone to tell on YSL, because YSL's telling on himself. Though the YFN indictment did come maybe a couple weeks before the YSL, but they knew the YSL won. The Fed, or the Georgia prosecutor obviously knew they were going to make that indictment, and many people feel like it was strategic to hit YFN first, because the Rico stuff on YFN is it's both the YFN and the YSL Rico have one murder at their center, and all these other implied shootings and killings that they're not charging anyone with. There's a lot of minor drug charges, assault. They say Luchi choked somebody and beat him up because he was playing someone else's song. I mean, even if that's true, I mean, that's like a 6-month in the county jail type of offense. It's not a RICO. But why is YFN Lucci charged with first-degree murder in this incident if he was driving down the street, showing off his truck, dropping off his friend, baby, 3 guys from Miami, showing him the city. These Atlanta neighborhood guys come out and harass him. Baby tries to show his face. Hey, man, it's me. The guys shoot anyways. There's guns in the car with Luchi. Like it or not, half of America, especially in urban areas, they riding around with a car full of guns. And a lot of times it's legal. I don't know the legality of who had what gun. I wasn't in the car. Maybe some of the guns are legal. Maybe some of them weren't. I don't know. But it's described in the indictment as them going to do a drive-by. Now, however dumb you might want to think somebody is, dumb rappers, and not saying that they are, nobody would take their only one in the United States white Maybach SUV that, mind you, on December 10th, TMZ put YFN Lucci and his white Maybach SUV on TMZ because it was the first one in the country. So 10 days later, he did not get in a car with his 3 friends from Miami, right? So this supposed gang war, these aren't even guys from Atlanta. What gang or war are they in? They're from Miami. They go down the wrong street, and Luchi's friend ends up dead. Now, how does Luchi get first-degree murder? Well, in Georgia, like in most states, you have what's called felony murder. If in the commission of committing a felony, someone dies, you're guilty of first-degree murder. So, of course, that goes for, say I go to rob a store, and I end up killing somebody, even though I didn't go there to kill them. If I hadn't been trying to rob them, they wouldn't have got killed. So, of course, first-degree murder. But also, and some people do get convicted of this, let's say, I even saw a story once about a guy, I take you to go, you tell me, hey, run me over, I'm going to sell these drugs to somebody. And I'm sitting down in the car, and you go up in the hotel room. And you end up getting into, it's a drug deal gone bad, you kill somebody in the hotel room, you run down, I take you away. I was committing a felony. I was helping you deliver narcotics when a murder ensued. I could be charged with first-degree murder. So the way they've described this case in the YFN indictment is that Luchi and them went to go do a drive-by shooting. Because if they weren't committing a felony, Luchi's not guilty of any crime. He's riding with his buddies. They got guns for protection. Someone jumps out, what you doing in our hood or whatever. They were just bothering them. Because, again, everybody knew it was Luchi. He was in this only first one in America, white Maybach. And in the course of trying to defend themselves, this guy gets killed. He was not thrown out of the car. He was already outside of the truck trying to talk their way out of the situation. When he got shot, he was dying, and Luchi had to pull off. They tried to pull him in the car, couldn't do it. Gunshots were being exchanged. Luchi pulls off. They weren't going to do a drive-by. They weren't going to confront anybody. He was showing off his new truck. He was showing his 3 buddies from Miami, the city, and they were going to drop the kid who got killed, baby, when I kid, young man, I think he was 28, to see a little girl in the neighborhood. That's why he got out the car to try to say, hey, man, I've been coming over here to see whatever the girl's name is. And Luchi shouldn't be charged with any crime. Now there's supposedly videotapes from some businesses around there, and the prosecutors, this is an example of putting pressure on people. They want Luchi to give up, I think, YSL stuff. I don't know. Well, Luchi has nothing to give up, so. But Luchi, I guess, code of the streets. He don't want to be labeled a gunner or something, even to protect himself. This is why it's tricky, man, when you put yourself in these situations where people are going to judge you for doing what a normal person would. So he can't even say, hey, these guys jumped out and we're going to shoot us, because then some people going to say, oh, well, he's snitching, he shouldn't say anything. To me, and to probably 99% of America, but Luchi won't make a statement. But there's other people, like there's guys that were in another car that was trailing or was ahead or whatever with some other dudes. I ain't gonna say who they are, but I was told some other guys, they could make statements. They could get on the stand and save Luchi, but as of now, they're not planning on doing that, and the prosecutor doesn't want to make them, because they want Luchi in a bad situation so they can get him to take a long plea, or, I don't know what information they think he has about some other crimes. I don't think he has any, because as he says in his music, unlike Thug, he's not a gang member. He grew up in a neighborhood infested with gangs, but so do a lot of people. That doesn't make you a gang member. So YFN Lucci has this felony murder charge. He could save himself. Other people on the scene could save him. The CP3 guy got stabbed in jail. I don't know what that's all about. I don't think he hasn't made a deal. The other guy in the car from Miami made a deal where he, boy, I can look into this more if we do a part 2 of the story, but I think he did sort of a deal like the YSL people, of sort of like just saying YFN is a gang and we had guns in the car. I do need to revisit what his plea agreement is. I'm not sure, but I don't think even he said they were going to do a drive-by. But this just does not, I don't care if you thought YFN Lucci is someone that's out of control, doesn't have good sense. There's not that much out of control in the world. He did not get in his brand new, only one in the United States, white Maybach SUV, followed by another car with 6-7 people with guns, to do a drive-by in some random neighborhood. That's absurd. He should have never been charged. I wish he could make a statement. I wish somebody else would make some statements and tell the truth. Hey, maybe somebody that lives on that block, if you could come out and say what you saw, They did not just pull up and start shooting. I mean, that's why it never made sense that they so-called threw their friend out of the truck. How do you come and do a drive-by and then you got to throw your dead friend out of the car? He got out of the car to try to reason with the guys, and they shot him critically, and Luchi pulled off to try to save himself and the other guys in the car. I mean, spurred a moment. Probably figured he was dead. I mean, he basically was. He died soon thereafter. And that's my understanding of what really happened at the centerpiece of the YFN indictment, at least as it pertains to Rayshawn Bennett, aka YFN Lucci, and my sources are hoping that some of the other people that were there to witness this will corroborate what it's going to be showing in the videotapes, that they were just driving and they made a mistake, try to beat Atlanta traffic, cut through a street on the way to this guy baby's little female friend's house, and these guys jumped out to give him a hard time again, probably just because that's what's going on. If you can accost a rapper or take someone's chain, we all seen it a million times. You take somebody's chain, you punk somebody out, videotape it, suddenly, you know, you in the game, right? People want to hear your song. I don't know what the story from the side of those guys is, but that's the story from my Atlanta sources. I don't like to I'm not an investigative journalist. I don't have a problem with the police solving crimes, but I don't get a check on Friday from law enforcement. That's not my job in the culture. But in the case of a young guy doing well in life who's been really inappropriately charged, I will play investigator to, you know, is Luchi guilty of something? Should he be in a little bit of trouble for something? I don't know, maybe not, but he certainly shouldn't be charged with murder at all, much less first-degree murder. And in this particular incident, he shouldn't be charged with anything. I don't know what else that guy does or doesn't do or whatever. It was not a gang drive-by. He's not in a gang. Sure, he hangs with gang members. So do I. So do you. It's a lot of gang members. And also, it's a lot of people the police will refer to as gang members who may not even be a gang member. What makes someone a gang member? But he had 3 guys from Miami in his car. They cut through the wrong neighborhood. They get accosted by people in the neighborhood, try to talk to their way out of it. The other guys fire first. They fire back to protect themselves. Lucci just peels off. He doesn't have a gun. He tries to get away. And because his own buddy died at the scene by the police saying they came there with intent to commit a crime, that makes it felony first-degree murder for Lucci. But that is not what happened. Free YFN Lucci, and I hope some witnesses will come forward. You know, it's all fun and games to say, you know, don't make statements and don't tell, but, you know, sometimes that whole, you know, free the guys, well, how you gonna get the guys free? Somebody gotta tell the truth. Free YFN Lucci. American Dope. Our Prophet 2024.